I've been training and bulking for 4 years, and today I'll be ranking these 39 bulking foods. So starting off with, we have fish. This will go in A tier. Now this depends if you are in the UK, Europe, or if you are in America. Because in America, things like salmon, things like cod, everything, they are all not only farm raised, but they are also coloured. So because they are farm raised, they don't get the correct nutrients, and so they are discolored. They are like grey or whatever, instead of like the pink, for example, for salmon. And so they add lots of colours. So make sure you just check on the back of your packets of your fish and make sure that you're not getting all of these colours. In terms of bulking, they don't have a ton of calories, but calories don't matter because they don't apply to humans. They do have a lot of protein. They do have a decent amount of fat, but they are also very, very, very nutrient dense. And that is what we need to optimize for. We're not optimizing for macros anymore. We are optimizing for nutrients. So remember that. So A tier for salmon, depending on where you are in the world. Now ground beef, S tier. Ground beef is absolutely fantastic. I eat about half a kilo of ground beef a day. Absolutely amazing. You see, not only is ground beef, I get the 25% fat ground beef now, and it's amazing. So tons of fat, meaning DHA, EPA. You're getting all of, literally every single essential nutrient you need, B12, A, D, C. I know there's not much C, but it depends if you're eating carbs or not. C, D, E, everything, right? You're getting so many, choline, taurine, creatine, everything. You're getting all of your essential nutrients within the ground beef. And also, because ground beef has a lot of different parts of the beef that has been ground into one, that means you're getting stuff like collagen. So unlike a steak, for example, when you eat a steak, it's just one part of the meat, right? One part of the cow. But in ground beef, it could be any part of the cow. So you are, well, not necessarily, it's probably not going to have brain in there, but you know, you're going to get like extra parts that are a bit gristly normally, that are quite difficult to eat, or like not very nice, palatable to eat. So you're getting all of that, and it just tastes amazing. And I make them into like little beef burger patties. So it's literally, I eat that and eggs every single morning, every single lunchtime. And it's just like I'm eating burger and eggs every day. It's amazing, right? And it's got all my essential nutrients. It's packed full of calories, even though they don't matter. Packed full of protein, packed full of fat. Absolute S tier. Now let's move on to something else. McDonald's go right down into D tier. Now this is for bulking. If we are talking about bulking here, then I will put it in C tier. I always love talking about health, so it'll go in D tier. But McDonald's, you can get, in fact, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'll put it in B tier, because this isn't a health tier list, is it? So McDonald's is good if you just eat the burger patties alone. I've done this before. Actually, no, I've done it in Burger King. I was that weird guy who I would get like the beef burgers and just eat the beef burger. Like get rid of the buns because they've got like tons of seed oils and everything. The only problem is all the burgers are cooked in seed oils anyway. And the next day I felt like I had a headache and I had some cramps and stuff because it was cooked in seed oils. Seed oils are killing you. I've done a video on that if you're interested. But McDonald's is actually decent for calories and macros, but not very nutrient dense unless you just eat the beef burgers. If you just eat the beef burgers, the beef burger patties alone, then I'd put it at B tier, because obviously it's not a lot of beef and you might as well just go and order a steak or something for the same price. So it's not fantastic for the price to the amount of nutrients and calories you get, but it could be worse. Popcorn, D tier. D tier. There's no nutrients in it. There's barely any I'm sure this is like one of the least calorie dense foods in the planet. So pretty pointless. And also you're just eating grains, which you're not supposed to do anyway as a human. Now, cakes and desserts, that is going D tier. No nutritional value. Sure, it has calories, but they are empty calories and will make you fat. Trust me, I have had the experience of that. You need to eat high quality foods like beef, like fish, like eggs, because they have the nutrients required and the bioavailable sources of protein, meaning you're able to absorb that protein in order for you to bulk. So you can bulk with weight, you can gain weight but you're not necessarily gaining muscle. And people say you are, but you're not. And you inherently know in your mind that eating dessert, like, you know, like cakes and Jaffa cakes and everything like that, just for the calories in, calories out, guys, you know it's not right. You know it's not healthy, and you know it won't work. So why do you do it? Why do you listen to all these influencers who just say, yeah, actually, calories in this equation? Like, just use your common sense. If you're eating something that is like chocolate blast, flavor explosion, treacle, like this is not going to give you good results. You might look okay for the time being, but as soon as, like, straight after you've eaten it, you'll be dead bloated and dead fat and dead horrible. And maybe later on down the line, you'll look good, but you won't feel good. You won't be metabolically healthy. You will be unhealthy. You'll just be like the fat person who goes to McDonald's, except you've manipulated your calories. So please, 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 cut out all junk food. All of it. All of it. There is, if you actually saw this for what it was, you would not eat it. You would not eat it. It's complete poison. Complete poison. Now, in contrast to that, eggs go right to S tier. They are a complete animal, essentially, right? So they have everything that is needed for life. So you are consuming life. It is perfect. Tons of fat, tons of calories, well, calories don't matter, tons of protein, bioavailable sources of protein, one of the most bioavailable sources of protein you can get. The same with ground beef, it's very, very similar. And of course, they taste great. You can cook them in loads of different ways, but try and make sure the yolk is runny. When the yolk is runny, you preserve all the nutrients. Same with ground beef. If you make sure that you cook it less, cook it rare, then you'll preserve the nutrients. Now, just quickly, the first link in the description will take you to my school program where I go really in depth on all of this, on bioavailability, micros over macros, dangers of like seed oils and anti-nutrients and everything within vegetables, like vegetables are bad for you. Everything is covered in here. It is all advanced education. So you are getting good education here, but this is where the advanced education is. So if you want full access to all of these courses, including like live walkthroughs where I literally show you how to cook the meals that I eat. And of course, you'll get the one-on-one access to me. So if you're confused about anything, you can ask me personalized questions and I can give you personalized responses. Then the first link in the description will take you there. Now, whey protein. It depends. You see, if you eat this type, for example, gold standard here, it's like chocolate bomb flavor or whatever. They're just adding a ton of chemicals. Sure, it's got 0 grams of sugar. Sure, it's got 0 grams of fat. But you want the fat anyway. You are just getting waste protein from milk. Why don't you just drink milk? And you're getting all of the additives and seed oils and just everything you shouldn't be eating, just poisonous chemicals. For triple the price. Logic? Because obviously I fell for this as well. I thought, oh yeah, protein shakes, guy. Oh, I'm going to the gym, protein shakes, you know. Putting it in C tier. If you get, there's one from Bulk, the company Bulk. You can get pure whey protein, and that is just pure whey protein. That's it. And sure, it's waste protein. You might as well drink milk, and obviously it's like triple the price. But you don't have all the additives. And so you can blend it with milk and with a banana or with fruit or whatever to make it taste nice. It's a natural smoothie with high protein. So sick. And it is actually a bioavailable source of protein. So I will put this in C tier. I'm questioning this McDonald's, you know. No, I'm going to put it down to D tier and I'm going to put this back in B tier. C tier for McDonald's, B tier for protein. Now, I believe this is milk. I can't actually see this very well because it's quite small. And someone else made this online. I just picked it and thought, oh, this looks good. So I think this is milk. Now, milk depends once again. If you get pasteurized milk, which is just store-bought milk that you buy from Asda or whatever, sure, it's going to be good. It's going to have some bioavailable sources of protein, tons of calories. It's what Arnold Schwarzenegger used for literally every meal during his prep season where he was trying to bulk up. He drank tons and tons and tons of it, and I drank tons and tons and tons of it, and I still do, and it's fantastic. Milk is literally made for the growth of a animal. That is what milk is made for. It is made for growth. And so, yes, it is good, but when it is pasteurized, it loses pretty much all of its nutrients. So if you have access to raw milk, buy raw milk. I buy raw milk, tastes way better. It tastes way like creamier and everything, so it's nicer. And also, you preserve all of the nutrients. So you get all of the nutrients, and you still get the same benefits anyway. So I'm going to put this in A tier. If you get raw milk, it's going to S tier. So try and get raw milk if you can. If you can't, don't worry, still buy the store-bought milk because it is good. Now, nuts, yes, they do have protein, but it is one of the least bioavailable sources of protein. So phytic acid and oxalates, I'm not sure if oxalates are in these actually, but definitely phytic acid, they bind to all of like the proteins, and they bind to all of the nutrients within the nuts, meaning that they block the absorption of these nutrients, so you can't get them. So they don't have a complete amino acid profile, which basically means you have like, say 1 gram of protein is 1 gram of protein. In this, it's like 0.2 grams of protein. So these are terrible sources of protein, but they do have some fats, even though they're not the correct ones. But they do have a ton of calories. If you get like things like walnuts, they do have a ton of calories. However, calories don't matter. So I'm going to put it in C tier above McDonald's. I always used to think these were really good, and I'd eat bags and bags and bags of nuts every day. But they're not. They're not as good as people say they are. They are not. But speaking of what is good, steak, you are going directly up to S tier, my friend. Steak is just absolutely phenomenal. It is the same as ground beef, except it just tastes even better. So, a ribeye steak. I had a ribeye steak once in London. I had at this like special steakhouse, and it was definitely cooked in seed oils though, so that's probably why it tasted good, and obviously I didn't feel great the next day. But if you cook a steak in butter, oh my god, that is literally the best meal you could have. Ground beef, eggs, steak, raw milk, you could not have anything better on the planet if you tried. And that goes for bulking as well. So, absolutely, absolutely, go for a steak. If you're going for a birthday party, if you're going out with your mates, if you're going out with your parents, get a steak every time. And I once asked, I went out to the steakhouse with one of my mates for his 18th birthday, and I was that one weird guy who asked, can you cook it in butter instead of oil? And the guy was like, oh, you're a pain in my ass, but yeah, I'll do it. He was such a lad, but I got it cooked in butter instead of oil. And it was probably like the spreadable butter, so it probably wasn't very good anyway. But absolute S tier. Those three are the absolute epitome of S tier. Peanut butter. Now, there's a lot of different types of peanut butter. One of them is, there's one called pepper nut, there's one called Manny nut, I think. And they are just peanuts and some sea salt, and that's it. If you can get that, if you get like Jif, then it's got like I'm pretty sure it's like 20% nuts, and the rest of it is just like oils and stuff and additives. So please don't get this. If you are going to buy peanut butter, buy the real stuff. Buy the actual stuff, because that's what I used to do. And yes, it has a ton of calories. Yes, it has a ton of protein. Yes, it has a ton of fats. But like the nuts, you can't absorb it anyway. And also you're going to get a lot of oils. Like there's normally like a lot of oil at the top of the peanut butter. So I'll put it at the bottom of C tier, because those oils are just terrible for you. Now moving on to beef liver, it is not great for bulking, I'm going to be honest, but the nutrients are absolutely ridiculous. In like about that much, I'm not even joking, that much is about 3 times your daily allowance of vitamin A. People get vitamin A toxicity, which means they overdose on vitamin A from liver, because it is that nutrient dense. This is like an absolute lifeline of nutrients. So I'm going to put it in, for this, I'm going to put it in I'm going to put it in C tier. In terms of health, S tier. But in terms of bulking, C tier. I really need to stop. I'm just ranking this based on bulking or on nutrients, not bulking. But I need to stay focused. Now, fruit. Fruit is fantastic for going to the gym and getting short-term energy and not using pre-workout like, you know, the C4 Explosion pre-workout or Monster Energy drink and all that nonsense. This is a more natural source. So definitely, this is what I use for pre-workout and it's worked every time. It's beautiful. But fruit is actually designed, in the way we process fruit, it was originally designed for us to gain fat in the winter. That is why we ate it, because it was a seasonal thing. We would eat the fruit in the summer, and then when there was no fruit left and there was only meat available, because we were carnivores, then we would have that fat saved up from the fruit. So fruit is made for fat stores. That is what it is intended for in the human body. So it's terrible for bulking. Terrible for bulking. If you're willing to put on fat instead of muscle, then it'll go S tier, but D tier for now. For actual muscle bulking, it is terrible. Vegetables, D tier, same thing, no point in them. You can get all of your nutrients from beef, meat, eggs, raw milk, fruit. You don't need vegetables for anything, and they are full of chemicals. That's why most vegetables taste bad unless you cook the hell out of them, because it is your evolutionary senses saying that you shouldn't eat this. Think about it, if you ate a vegetable in the wild and it tasted bad, you wouldn't eat it because it's your body saying don't eat that because it tastes bad. It's the same thing here. Full of chemicals, full of pesticides as well, but full of like toxic chemicals within the plants, not as in like additives from humans or anything. So you just shouldn't eat vegetables. Avocado, bulking, you know what? It is actually good. It has got a decent amount of fat. Fat does not make you fat, by the way. It has got a decent amount of fat and good calories. It's okay. It's okay. No, I'm going to put it in C tier. It's okay. Orange juice, same thing as fruit. Cereal, straight back down there. The milk is good. The cereal will kill you. Raw honey, the same thing as fruit. And I actually have some raw honey sometimes, and it is very good for a pre-workout. If you want to get optimal performance at the gym, then fruit is one of the best things you can take. Coffee, I think this is coffee, some weird thing. I'm putting it down there. Terrible for bulking, obviously. It's got no nutrients. Quaker oats. Oats are good for... No, they're not. No, they're not. I'm gonna put oats for bulking. I'm gonna put oats in D tier. And why do you think I have done that? If you've watched me before, I used to eat a lot of oats, and they always made me dead fat and dead bloated. They just made me feel horrible. And that's because they are just pure sugar. That is what oats are. Pure sugar. The way they get digested is the same way sugar gets digested. The exact same. No nutritional benefits, no protein, no bioavailable source of protein, no fats. Terrible. Tons of calories, but that just makes you bloated and fat. And that's what happened to me. So don't eat oats if you can. Rice, same thing, except I'm going to put it in C tier because it's not as bad and it doesn't make you feel as bad as oats, but still it's not great. I actually don't know what that is. I think it's rice again, so I'm just going to put that there. Quinoa, I've never had quinoa. I'm sure that's like some vegetarian thing, so that goes right in D tier. But I actually don't know what quinoa is, so I'm just going to put it there. It's probably the same as rice, so I'll put it in C tier. Bread, it doesn't matter what bread you have. If you have anything from the supermarket that isn't sourdough bread, like if you look on the back and you know every single ingredient is just like wheat and flour and that's about it. Anything other than that, straight D tier. Full of chemicals, full of additives. I used to stack the shelves in Sainsbury's as part of a part-time job. And every single day I'd look at the package and just think, oh my God. You know, like white toasty Sainsbury's, Warburton's, whatever. It is just have about 90 ingredients on. And it's like everybody eats this every morning and it's like, oh my God. People actually eat this stuff. It's terrible for you. And obviously it's got no nutrients. So terrible, terrible, terrible in D tier. Now chicken, I'm going to say this is chicken breast. You should go for the fattier cuts of meat always. So you can have chicken legs, chicken thighs. I have that quite a lot. But chicken breast, no, put it in A tier. Chicken breast in A tier. But chicken Chickens are in white meat are monogastric animals, which basically means they have a very simple digestive system. And when they have a simple digestive system, they cannot extract the nutrients from their food correctly. So they, unless you get pasture raised, which basically means they eat their, they're just outside free roaming. If they eat grains, which most chickens do, in like a farm, like a factory kind of thing, in like cages and whatever. If they eat the grains, then they are not getting the correct nutrients. And because their digestive system won't allow them to extract the nutrients correctly, then when you eat them, they will not have the correct nutrients in their meat itself. So you are not getting the best nutrients. So it is good for, very good bioavailable source of protein, of course, because it's meat, but the chicken breast doesn't have much fat at all, and obviously you want the fattier cuts of meat. So we've been fed this lie that lean cuts of meat are better. They're not. The fat is good for you. You need the fat. DHA, EPA, B12. So make sure you get chicken thighs, chicken legs, but if you get chicken breast, it's still okay. But ruminant animals, which is like beef, steak, red meat, which we've been eating for millions of years, so don't think, oh my god, red meat's going to kill you. No, it's not. As soon as we started eating seed oils and everything, we just started dying. And then they blamed it on the red meat. And people were bribed like the American Heart Association were bribed $20 million for that lie. So just don't believe that at all. We've been eating red meat for millions of years. We would hunt an animal. Like I said, in the winter, there was only animals available for food. That is all we do. We'd be strict carnivore at that point. We would kill the animal, which is normally like a boar or a deer or something like that, so red meat, and we'd eat it pretty much raw unless we cooked it on a fire, and we'd be completely fine, and we prospered off of that for millions of years. So do not believe the lie of anything else, literally anything else other than meat, eggs, fruit, raw dairy, raw honey. That's it. You don't need to think about anything else because we didn't consume anything else. So not even vegetables. It was unbelievably rare we would consume vegetables. So just don't believe that. Where was I? Ruminant animals have a complex digestive system. So when even if they consume grains, ideally you get grass-fed, but that's very expensive and I can't afford that yet. Buy my program. So grass-fed is where they get fed grass, which is what they're supposed to consume. But if they are fed grains, which they often are, then they are not getting the correct nutrients. However, because their digestive system is very complex, they can extract nutrients in better ways, meaning they are more nutrient dense in their meat, in their actual body. So when we eat them, we get the correct nutrients. It's not as good as grass-fed, but it is a lot better than white meat. That was a hell of a long tangent. Pasta, same thing as oats. Makes you feel fat and bloated, got no nutritional value, pure calories, no fats, no protein. Bacon, I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. Very good if you actually get bacon. Because most of the time, it's only like 70% pork. The rest of it is preservatives and additives. Go and look in your supermarket. At every single packet of bacon, there is not a single one that will be just bacon. I guarantee you. And so if we are talking about modern day bacon, then I'm going to put it in B tier. But if I'm going to put it in if I'm talking real bacon, I'm going to put it in A tier. Because obviously it's meat and it's got a good source of protein, got bioavailable source of protein, fats, everything, nutrients. Now, I don't know, I think that's yogurt. Yogurt is decent. I'm actually going to put this in the top of B tier. Yogurt is very decent. No, I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it in A tier. It is actually very decent. If you can get raw yogurt, then get raw yogurt because it's a lot better. The same thing as, what's that other one called? Raw kefir, very good as well. You just want to get everything raw, essentially, because when you've got like vanilla flavored yogurt, it's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as good at all. So we don't want that. We want real yogurt. If you can get raw yogurt, the better. If you can't, then it's okay. It's essentially just milk, so it's the same thing. Just get the Greek style, unflavored, full fat. Don't fall for the low fat lie, please. Full fat, all cream, yogurt stuff, that's what you want, right? The same reasons for milk. Now, I don't know what that is. Is that spices or something? It doesn't look like meat, so I'm going to put it in D tier. Now, gherkins, D tier. Mustard, D tier. I don't know why these are even on here. Cheetos, obviously S tier. And by S tier, I mean D tier. Pizza. Now, this is an interesting one Because I used to think, you know, because obviously calories in, calories out. When I used to eat like a Domino's pizza like a year ago or something, I'd think, oh yeah, look at the macros, 70 grams of protein, come on. It's an eye for an eye. Because yes, there is a lot of protein and that will come from like the cheese and everything. But, so meaning it is slightly bioavailable, more bioavailable like than pasta or rice or whatever. But you are sacrificing your health with it. So for bulking, yes, it is A tier. However, the nutrients are not there. And you are poisoning yourself because of the amount of added chemicals in it. So just be wary, just be wary. I would never ever consume a Domino's again in my life. Please, please don't do that either. Waffles, I can't believe people eat this in the morning. I just have no words. People actually consume this first thing in the morning thinking, yeah, this will give me energy for the day. This is a healthy start to my day. D tier for bulking. The big gay ice cream. I don't know what the big gay ice cream is, but I'm just going to talk about the ice cream. D tier. If you can make actual ice cream, by the way. My mum did this the other day. She froze some raw milk and bananas together. Like she crushed it up and like, you know, blended it. And then she just whacked it in the fridge and it tasted unbelievable. And obviously it's got good carb source from the bananas and bioavailable sources of protein, fats, everything from the raw milk. So amazing, amazing snack that you can have. Maybe it's pre-workout or dinner or whatever, like after dinner. But real like normal ice cream that you buy from the shop, D tier. And you know why. I think that's water. Water is not great for bulking, I'm going to be honest. Black coffee, or just coffee in general, D tier. Vodka, that's probably decent for bulking, but you will just be fat and lazy and hate your life. So put it there. I have actually never drank before. I have never drank before. And finally, cheese. That probably threw you off a bit. Cheese. If you can get Parmigiano or Reggiano, which is raw cheese, fantastic, it will go in S tier. If you can get normal cheese, it is an A tier, where it is just cheese. If it's got anything other than cheese in the ingredients, don't buy it. We have ranked all of these bulking foods, so now that you know you need to optimize for nutrition, not just macros. And once again, if you want full access to the advanced education found within my program, then that'll be the first link in the description. You will get full access to me. You will never look back. This is the best investment into your fitness, into your health, into your life you will ever make. I guarantee it. So if you want to make a true change by changing your health, transforming your physique, transforming your looks as a result of those, then click the first link in the description. I will see you over there. That was a hell of a long video. Good night.